share the YouTube link and okay. Give me sorry about this. I will put this message on WhatsApp soon. Okay, I'm done with that part. And let me quickly share. Today is a very interesting set of verses. We are actually moving on to the third chapter. We were in the second chapter last time. So now we'll be moving on to the third chapter. I think we have our quorum, the usual devotees, and if others may want to join later, maybe we'll start the class. We have 7 participants. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I hope you can hear me and see the screen. So we'll be continuing with the Srimad Bhagavatam verses from Canto 3 and Chapter 3. Sorry, Canto 2, Chapter 3 today. Last week we did the important verses from Chapter 2. So this week we'll be doing from Chapter 3 of Canto 2. So this, we will recite the invocation prayers first and then start the class. If anybody would like to volunteer, please go ahead. If you can see the screen, there's the verses there. Yes, Anjaneya, please go ahead.
Okay. Om Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. I offer my... do I read the translation too?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. Our respectful obeisances are unto you, O spiritual master, servant of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. You are kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Deva in delivering the Western countries, which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. I offer my obeisances to Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasa and all others in the line of devotion. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. O Lord, O energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for reciting so beautifully. Anjaneya, that was an auspicious start. And let's move on to the verses for today. These are really very often quoted verses on by Srila Prabhupada. So I'm thinking most of us may already know. So this class is going to be a breeze. So I would again request if there are any volunteers who would like to repeat after me this verse as we try to learn this verse. Tulsi Manjari Mataji. Yeah, sure. Anjaneya, I'll give you a turn again, okay? Let me also try to engage other devotees. I hope it's okay with you. Yeah, thank you, Tulsi Manjari Mataji. So this is the 10th verse from the second canto and third chapter. So here, last chapter, we saw how Shukadev Goswami was responding to the questions of Parikshit Maharaj. And so now the sages of Naimisharanya, again, they implored to Suta Goswami to continue telling because it's so interesting, and they realized that Parikshit Maharaj, also being a pure devotee, he has wonderful questions, and Shukadev Goswami, also such a self-realized soul, he has wonderful answers. So the sages of Naimisharanya, including headed by Shaunaka Rishi, they are all, again requesting Suta Goswami to continue, with what conversation happened between Parikshit Maharaj and Shukadev Goswami. So the first few verses are quoted by the sages, like in honor of these, glorifying this conversation. And then from about the 10th or 11th verse, Shukadev, the conversation of Shukadev Goswami is again discussed. So this is one of the verses. So this is one of the verses from there. So, Tulsi Manjari Mataji, you can repeat. Akamaha
Kamaha
Sarvakamo
Sarvakamo
Va
Va
Mokshakama
Mokshakama
Udaradhihi
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 Tivrena
Tivrena
Bhakti Yogena
Bhakti Yogena
Yajeta
Yajeta
Purusham Param.
Purusham Param.
Yeah, I just want to bring attention to Tivrena. There is a dot under the na, N, so it is the na, that second na, which is there in the Sanskrit alphabet. So yeah, it's an easy verse. I'm pretty sure like almost all of us are familiar with this. Akama sarva kamo va
Akama Sarvakamo Va
moksha kama udaradhihi
Mokshakama Udaradhihi
tivrena bhakti yogena
Tivrena Bhakti Yogena
yajeta purusham param.
Yajeta Purusham Param.
Akama sarva kamo va
Akama Sarvakamo Va
moksha kama udaradhihi
Mokshakama Udaradhihi
tivrena bhakti yogena
Tivrana Bhakti Yogena
yajeta purusham param.
Yajeta Purusham Param.
Akama sarva kamo va
Akama Sarvakamo Va
moksha kama udaradhihi
Mokshakama Udaradhihi
tivrena bhakti yogena
Tivrana Bhakti Yogena
yajeta purusham param.
Yajeta Purusham Param.
Akama sarva kamo va
Akama Sarvakamo Va
moksha kama udaradhihi
Mokshakama Udaradhihi
tivrena bhakti yogena
Tivrana Bhakti Yogena
yajeta purusham param.
Yajeta Purusham Param.
Thank you, Mataji, for beautifully reciting. Do any words stand out to you, Mataji, in the verse?
Akama is like transcending material desires, like without desire.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarvakama is like
Sorry?
and like all desires or yeah, moksha kama would be liberation. Udharadihi is like intelligence. Tivrena is with like force. Bhakti Yogena is devotional service to Krishna. Yajeta is like worshipping. And Purushamparam is like the Supreme Lord.
Jai Mataji, do you want to take a jab at the translation of this verse? Or anybody else? If Mataji, I literally translated the whole verse for her so beautifully, and she recited so beautifully. So if anybody else also would like to translate, anybody would like to try? Oh, yeah, Anjaneya, please go ahead.
Can I just like piece in all of the things that Mataji said?
Yeah, go ahead if you can.
So like the person who wants like full conqueration over a kingdom should worship like the Manus, I think. Is that right, Mataji?
Yeah, there are, in the section for different desires, if we have different material desires, there is in the third canto a mention of who to worship for each of the things, like what demigod worship will end, give us that result. And that is one part of the you could say of the verse here. But in this verse is talking of three kinds of devotees. But thank you for that input, Anjaneya. Is there anybody else who would like to comment on this verse before I can try? Anybody else? Like, okay, let me just go ahead. Thank you, Mataji, for beautifully translating, and Anjaneya for the inputs. So Akama, like Mataji mentioned, who are not having any material desires. So it is referring to devotees like that. So they don't have material desires. They are fully dedicated to the service of the Lord. Sarva Kamova is referring to people who would like some kind of, opulences or something like wealth, money, fame, education, things like that. So who have some material desires. Moksha Kama is the people who are after liberation, like the impersonalists. So this is referring to the three classes of of people who worship the Lord, Udaradhihi, like, with great intent. Tivrena means to take up to the practice of bhakti yoga very seriously. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. So what is being said here is that anybody on the path of, who has no desires, material desires, or any person who has a lot of material desires, or a person who is seeking liberation, all of them should take to this practice of bhakti yoga. So the sages are actually trying to explain this, that because this chapter in the second canto, like the previous chapter was discussing the process of ashtanga yoga, or the realization of the Paramatma in the heart. But this third chapter is discussing the path of devotional service. So the sages are saying that anybody, can take up this chanting of the holy names and, worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what is so difficult? That's the question they're saying. Like, I mean, are we here to live our lives like animals? Animals are also eating, sleeping, mating, and defending like that. So is that all the human intelligence is for? So the human being must aspire for greater things in life, and so they must worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they're kind of setting the scene here for those set of verses. That's when they're mentioning these verses, akama sarva kamova. So any person can take to the practice of bhakti yoga. That's what they're trying to say here. And it's a very, very important verse. Like sometimes we have the question, like devotees, can we approach the Lord, if we have any issues or problems like that. So this verse is actually saying, yes, usually pure devotees, at least on the pure platform, like on the transcendental platform, they only have desires which are pertaining to their devotional service. So, if we have some kind of impediment, to our devotional service. Like we are not able to say wake up early for Mangal Aarti and do it, and some health issues or anything, is troubling us, then we definitely can approach the Lord and say, and pray and beg for His mercy so we can engage ourselves more diligently in our devotional service. So there's nothing wrong in requesting the Lord, supplicating the Lord with prayers, like how Kunti Maharani, she actually prayed to the Lord that cut off all my, ties with the family, both my parental and my in-laws side, so that I can with one pointed attention, I can just worship you like that. So there is all these great devotees, they offer this kind of prayers to the Lord. So we can also try to follow in those footsteps. So there is absolutely nothing wrong to offer these kind of prayers to the Lord. And also, if you have material desires, like people who not yet on the pure platform can also worship the Lord for the same, and moksha kama, who are seeking transcendental like liberation, so they can also worship the Lord. That's what this verse is talking about. And let's look at how Prabhupada has translated this verse. Let me just make it a readable color. Now, I'd like any volunteers who would like to read the translation and the synonyms, please. Okay, it appears everybody is a little bit quiet today. Let me go ahead and read.
Mataji, shall I help you?
Sure, Prabhu. Like Bharat Prabhu also raised hand.
Yeah,
you
let Bharat Prabhu do it. Yeah, next time
you can decide who wants to. Please go ahead, Bharat Prabhu, if you're available.
Akamaha, one who has transcended all the material desires. Sarva Kamaha, one who has the sum total of material desires. Va, either. Moksha Kamaha, one who desires liberation. Udaradhi, with broader intelligence. Tivrena, with great force. Bhakti Yogena, by devotional service to the Lord. Yajet, should worship. Purusham, the Lord. Param, the supreme whole. Translation. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the supreme whole, the personality of Godhead. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. I would again, if maybe devotees are already familiar, but this is a very, very key verse, often quoted, and it's also a Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav verse. So please try to memorize this verse, and also I think the next verse also, like all the verses are quoted by Prabhupada are important, but a couple of these are like very, very key. Like this verse is very, very key like that. And also we see here how Udara dhihi refers to intelligence, like buddhi, like that we have, right? The dhi, that is the root word. I just wanted to bring the attention. The dhi refers to intelligence, like that. Buddhi or like that. Okay, we'll move on to the next verse for today. This also, like I said, a very important verse. Please try to memorize this verse also. Yeah, again, if there are any volunteers who would like to recite after me, okay, Anjaneya is our volunteer for the day. Okay. Ayur Harati Vaipumsam Udyan Astam Chayan Asau Tasyarte Yakshano Nita it's a little tough. Uttama Shloka Vartaya Uttama Shloka Vartaya Ayur Harati Vaipumsam Udyan Astam Chayan Asau
Udhyanastam chayanasau.
Tasyarte yakshano nita.
Tasyarte yat
Yakshano nita.
nita. Tasyarte yachano nita.
Beautiful, very nice. Uttama shloka vartaya.
Uttama shloka vartaya.
Ayurharati vaipumsam.
Ayurharati vaipumsam.
Udyannastam chayannasau.
Udhyanastam chayan asau.
Udyannastam chayannasau.
Udhyanastam chayanasau.
Tasyarte yakshano nita.
Tasyate yachano nita.
Tasyarte yakshano nita.
Tasyarte yachano nita.
Uttama shloka vartaya.
Uttama shloka vartaya.
Okay, let me go higher pitch. That was not my pitch. Ayurharati vaipumsam.
Ayurharati vaipumsam.
Udyannastam chayannasau.
Udhyanastam chayanasau.
Tasyarte yakshano nita.
Tasyate yachano nita.
Uttama shloka vartaya.
Uttama shloka vartaya.
Ayurharati vaipumsam.
Ayurharati vaipumsam.
Udyannastam chayannasau.
Udhyanastam chayanasau.
Tasyarte yakshano nita.
Tasyate yachano nita.
Uttama shloka vartaya.
Uttama shloka vartaya.
Ayurharati vaipumsam.
Ayurharati vaipumsam.
Udyannastam chayannasau.
Udhyanastam chayanasau.
Tasyate yakshano nita.
Tasyate yachano nita.
Uttama shloka vartaya.
Uttama shloka vartaya.
Okay, thank you for beautiful recitation, Anjaneya. Do any words stand out to you in this verse? There are a few words like ayur, you may know pumsam. Do
Yeah.
you want to comment on those meanings?
Okay. Ayuhu is the duration of like the life. How
Yes.
long your life is.
Mm-hmm.
Harati I think is goes lower or
Mm-hmm.
something.
Yeah, wasted
Pumsam is,
like that. Mm-hmm.
Pumsam is people.
Mm-hmm.
U- Udyan is getting bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Astam is setting, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Cha.
Udyan is like rising and Astam is setting. Yeah, like you rightly said.
So does that have anything to do like with the sun?
Yes, you're
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Cha is also Tasya
Mm-hmm.
is glorification, I think. Then
Mm-hmm.
uh Yat is whom, Shana is time, Nita
Mm-hmm.
is used,
Mm-hmm.
Uttama Shloka is the good.
Who is referred to as Uttama Shloka?
Ut,
Who
I
do we
forget.
glorify with the choicest of verses?
Krishna?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then Vartaya is a variety of like topics.
Yeah, very nice. You almost translated the whole verse very beautifully. So any others would like to comment on the meaning of this verse? Thank you, Anjaneya, for beautifully reciting and translating. Yeah, any devotees would like to comment? Take a chance. It's okay. We all are learning. Okay, maybe because devotees are quiet. So Anjaneya very beautifully translated. Ayur Harati Vaipumsam. So Ayur is the lifespan, the life of the individual. Harati is wasted. Vaipumsam is by the human being. Udayan Astan Chayan Asau, by the rising and the setting of the sun, right? Tasyarte Yakshano Nita. So who is not? Tasya arte, who is rite? Tasya rite means who is not actually doing what? Yakshano nita uttama shloka vata, who is not actually glorifying or who is not actually engaged in the process of devotional service to the Lord. What is happening? Ayur harati vaipumsam. So he or she is basically wasting his life. So this is another very, very, very key verse, which, you know, I mean, it's a very fundamental verse for us to always keep in our mind so that we utilize our time, you know, properly in Krishna consciousness and not take to things which are wasteful practices for a devotee, like involving in material activities or engagements like that, because we simply ayur harati, we're just wasting our life. You know, the years will just pass by and nothing will happen, and that's what it this. So this by the rising and by the setting, you know, of the sun, for a materialistic person, the life duration decreases. But for the person, you know, who has taken to the chanting, or, you know, who is discussing the topics of, like he was saying rightly, the topics of Vartaya, topics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for such a person, he's not just wasting his time like other materialistic people who may be just, you know, engaging in some other topics of discussion which are not of spiritual importance. So this is again, like I said, a very key verse, this one and the verse we saw earlier, Akama Sarva Kamova, that verse is also very important. And this Ayur Harati Vaipumsam is also very important. Please try to memorize these two verses. And let's look at the translation and meaning. Again, I would like volunteers. Anjaneya, our enthusiastic volunteer always. Let me just turn the font color to more readable. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Anjali.
Okay. Ayu, duration of life. Harati, decreases. Vai, certainly. Pumsam, of the people. Udyan, rising. Astam, setting. Cha, also. Yan, moving. Aso, the sun. Tasasya, of one who
Just 1 second,
glorifies.
Anjaneya. So the word for sun is Asau. Maybe we can try to remember this, right? Asau is, that's how the sun is being mentioned. Okay, yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Tasya, of one who glorifies the Lord. Rite, ye, except, yat, by whom, Shashana, time, Nita, utilized, Uttama Shloka, the all good personality of Godhead, Vartaya, in the topics of. Do I read the translation to Mataji?
Yes, please.
Translation. Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all good personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Anjaneya. So like we can see, this is a very instructive verse, and it will really help us to memorize this verse and also the previous verse. They're very important verses. They're often more often quoted, if in one sense, if you ask me. And a very beautiful verse. At least personally speaking, my Guru Maharaj, I mean, almost like every trip to Houston, I've seen him giving a class on this verse. Like he has given so many times a class on this verse, because though we may be reading it and still practically implementing it, you know, we have to keep listening to it over and over again like that. So this verse is very important to remember. Yeah. We can move on to the next verse for today. This is also a very often quoted verse. Like I said, you know, a very good verse for preaching purposes. And I would like a volunteer if anybody else other than Anjaneya is available. Anjaneya, you've been so great, and thank you so much. But I just want to engage a few more devotees. So if anybody else is available.
I can try, Mataji. I don't speak it very well, but I will try.
No worries, Mata. Thank you. Yeah. Shvavid
Shravid
Varahostra
Va'arhosha
Kharaihi
Harehi
Samstuta
Samsuta,
Purusha,
Purusha,
Pashuhu,
Pashahu,
Pashuhu,
Pashahu,
Pashuhu.
Pashuhu,
Yeah, thank you. Nayat Karna,
Nayat Karna,
Patho Peto,
Pato Peto,
Patho Peto,
Pato Peto,
Jatu Nama,
Datu Nama,
Gadagrajaha,
Gada Gradaha,
Jatu Nama,
Jatu Nama,
Gadagrajaha.
Gada Gradaha,
Yeah. Shvavid Varaha,
Shravid Varaha,
Ushtra Kharaihi. Yeah, I
Mataji,
just broke the words. So
okay,
maybe I'll just join it. Shvavid
Shravid
Varahostra Kharaihi,
Varahostra Karehi,
Samstuta
Samsuta,
Purusha Pashuhu,
Purusha, Pashuhu,
Nayat Karna,
Nayat Karna,
Patho Peto,
Aho Peto,
Jatu Nama Gadagrajaha,
Jatu Nama Graha
Gadagrajaha.
Gada Grajaha, Jatu Nama Gadar Grajaha,
Yeah, Jai, very nice mantra. Yeah, we'll try to recite line by line. Shravidvara Hoshtra Kharaihi,
Shravid Varharosha Rahi,
yeah, let me repeat, it's a little tough. Shvavidvara Hoshtra Kharaihi,
Shravid Varharosha Karahi,
yeah, I will split into Shravidvara
Shravid Para
Hoshtra Kharaihi,
Hosta Karahi,
Shvavidvara,
Shravid Para
yeah, Hoshtra Kharaihi.
Hostra Karithi.
I'm splitting it like that, but actually
Yeah.
it should not be split like that. I'm just doing it for our convenience, okay? Yeah,
Thank you.
it should be split as Shvavid Varaha Ushtra Kharaihi. If we want to split, that is the
Mhm.
actual words, but I'm just splitting it, for our convenience to learn, okay? So please don't, just because I want to make it easy for us to recite the whole line, I'm splitting it like that.
Thank
Okay?
you, Mata.
Yeah. Shravid Vara
Shravid Para
Hoshtra Kharaihi.
Hostra Karahi.
Shravidvara Hoshtra Kharaihi.
Suravid Hara Hostra Kari.
Shravidvara Hoshtra Kharaihi.
Shravid Vara Hostra Kari.
Yeah. First we will be doing this much like this, and
Yeah.
then Shvavidvara, then Hoshtra Kharaihi like that. Okay.
Hostra
Shvavidvara Hoshtra
Shravid
Kharaihi.
Hostra Karati.
Shvavidvara Hoshtra Kharaihi.
Astra Sarvat Vara Hostra Karati.
Yeah. Samstuta Purusha Pashuhu.
Samstrastuta Purusha Samsuta Purush
Yeah.
Pashuhu.
Samstuta
Samsuta
Purusha Pashuhu.
Purusha Pasha Pashura Pashuhu.
Samstuta
Samsuta
Purusha Pashuhu.
Purusha Pashahu.
Samstuta
Samsuta
Purusha Pashuhu.
Purusha Pashuhu.
Nayat Karna
Nayatkarna
Patho Peto.
Pato Peto
Nayat Karna
Nayatkarma Karna
Patho Peto.
Pato Peto
Jatu Nama
Jatu Nama
Gadagrajaha.
Gada Gradaha
Jatu Nama
Jatu Nama
Gadagrajaha.
Grada Gradaha
Shravidvara
Swavidvara
Hoshra Kharaihi.
Hosra Karahi
Samstuta Purusha Pashuhu.
Samsuta Purusha Pasuhu
Samstuta Purusha Pashuhu.
Samsutta Parasha Pashuhu
Nayat Karna
Nayat Karna
Pathopeto
Pato Peto
Jatu Nama
Jatu Nama
Gadagrajaha
Kada Grajaha
Shravidvara
Shwabipara
Hoshrakharehi
Oshra Karahi
Shravidvara
Shwabipara
Hoshrakharehi
Oshra Strava Rahi
Hoshrakharehi
Oshra Karahi
Samstuta
Samsuta
Purushah Pashuhu
Purusha Pashahu
Samstuta
Samsuta
Purushah Pashuhu
Purusha Pashuhu
Nayat Karna
Nayat Karna
Pathopeto
Pato Peto
Nayat Karna
Nayat Karna
Pathopeto sorry
Pato Peto
Jatu Nama
Datu Nama
Gadagrajaha
Gada Grajaha
Shravidvara Hoshrakharehi
Shravit Varohostra Karatahi
Samstuta Purushah Pashuhu
Samsuta Purusha Pashuhu
Samstuta Purushah Pashuhu
Samsuta Purusha Pashuhu
Nayat Karna Pathopeto
Nayat Karna Pato Peto
Jatu Nama Gadagrajaha
Datu Nama Gada Grajaha
Shvavidvara Hoshrakharehi
Shravit Varhosha Hostra Gaharati
Shvavidvara
Shravit Vara
Hoshrakharehi
Hostra Kariti
Shvavidvara Hoshrakharehi
Sam Shravit Vara Hostra Karati
Shvavidvara Hoshrakharehi
Shravit Varahar Hostra Karahi
Samstuta Purusha Pashuhu
Samsuta Purusha Pakshuhu
Samstuta Purusha Pashuhu
Samsuta Purusha Pashuhu
Nayat Karna Pathopeto
Nayat Karna Pato Peto
Jatu Nama Gadagrajaha
Jatu Nama Kada Gajaha
Shvavidvara Hoshrakharehi
Shravit Parhosra Karahi
Kharehi
Karahi
Kharehi
Karahi
Shvavidvara Hoshrakharehi
Shravit Parhosra Karathi
Very nice, Mata. Samstuta Purusha Pashuhu
Samsuta Purusha Asuhu
Samstuta Purusha Pashuhu
Samsuta Purusha Pashuhu
Nayak Karna Pathopeto
Nayat Karna Pato Peto
Nayat Karna Pathopeto
Nayat Karna Pato Peto
Jatu Nama Gadagrajaha.
Jatu Nama Kadar Grajaha.
Very nice. I just recited it a few more times because it's a little difficult, right? The words are not too easy.
I'm a difficult student.
But Mataji, brave attempt there. You recited beautifully. I mean, it's not easy, definitely. Even
No.
for native speakers, it's not easy. So you did so nicely, Mataji.
Thank
Any
you for your
words
patience.
stand out to you in this verse, Mata?
Karma Pato Pito. Karma Pato Pito. That stood out for me. I don't know why, but
I see, sure. Any words like you know the meanings of?
the Grada Rajaha. It's Krishna.
Yeah, Jai, very nice. You know the important word. Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, you know the most important word. Very nice, Mataji. Thank you. Anjane, you've raised your hand. You like to share something?
Yeah, Mataji. So, Shva is a dog. So from Varaha is a boar. Then Ushtra is a camel. Samstuta is praised. Purusha is a person. Pashu is a animal. Karna
Mm-hmm.
is ear. Then the Patha is your path.
Mm-hmm.
Upetaha. I know I've heard somewhere in the Gita, but I don't remember what it means.
That's all right. We will take Prabhupada's help to remind ourselves, but you're doing wonderful here.
Then
Anything else? Mm-hmm.
Jatu is time,
Mm-hmm.
any time or something.
Mm-hmm.
Nama is the holy name, and like Mataji said, Gadagrajaha is Krishna's name.
Chai, very nice. Beautiful. Yeah, so in this verse, the Lord is being referred to as Gadagrajaha, and this is actually another name of Lord Krishna. Like he's the elder brother, right, of Balarama. He's the elder brother of Lord Krishna. So in this verse, in specific reference, it can also refer to Lord Balarama. He's also called Gadagraja. Gada is, the name of Krishna. Agraja is who has appeared before Krishna, like the elder brother, like that. So it's also translated as Lord Balarama also. But then they're all, Balarama is like the first expansion of Krishna. So in one sense, it's referring to the Supreme Personality of Godhead there. And very nice, Anjaneya. Very beautifully you translated all the verses. So this verse is a very strong verse, and it giving like names of so many animals, right? Shwa with Varahoshtra. So like he was mentioning like a dog eater, like a Shwa with, and stool with Varaha is, like the pig who eats stool. Ushra is camels, who are just chewing on their own blood, right? They bite onto the thorns and then they keep chewing, and then the blood comes from their own mouth, but then they enjoy the taste thinking that they are eating something very nicely. Ushra Kharai is referring to asses or donkeys who keep working without any idea, they're like donkey slaves to their master without any idea of what the life is about. Samstuta Purusha Pashuhu. So these are, if we engage ourselves in these kind of activities, we are no greater than these animals, that's what is being said. Samsuta Purusha Pashuhu. Nayat Karna Pathopeto. Nayat Karna refers to the ears. Ears, Pathopeto. That is, who does not, Patho is referring to the path or the way, like here translated, who does not take to the path of Jatu Nama Gadagrajaha, like every day or daily listening of Gadagraja Nama, of the holy name of the Lord, who does not put in his ears these transcendental names of the Lord, their life is equal to Shvavidvara Oshtrakharahi. That's what this verse is, a strong verse. So it's no better than an animalistic life if we do not engage our ears in listening to the transcendental glories of the Lord. So very beautiful verse, and it was also very often quoted by Srila Prabhupada because it's a very strong verse, which is saying that we are no better than these kind of animals if we don't take to the, if we don't lend our ears to the transcendental topics. So Nayat Karna Pathopeto, to the transcendental topics spoken by, devotees, if we don't lend our ears, then we're no better than these animals. Let's see the word for word and the translation. Yeah, any volunteers, please? Anjana, I so much appreciate your enthusiasm. I just want to give other devotees a chance too. If anybody else would like to read the translation. Yeah, Bhavna Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you. Shwa, a dog. Vitvara, the village hoe who eats food. Ustra, the camel. Kharhe, and by the asses. Samstutaha, perfectly placed. Purushaha, a person. Pashu, animal. No, never. Yet, of him. Karna, ear. Patha, path. Upetah, east. Jatu, at any time. Nama, the holy name. Kadagrajaha, Lord Krishna, the deliverer from all evils. Men who are like dogs, rogues, camels, and asses, praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Shri Krishna, the deliverer from evils. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, Jay. So here Prabhupada is saying men who are like dogs, hogs, and camels and asses, praise those men. So Samsuta is referring to perfectly praising. That is the word Samstuta. Okay, that Prabhupada has translated here as praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, the deliverer from evils. So in Kali Yuga, this is what we see, right? I mean, around us, people who are very engaged in like materialistic activities and are high flying in their material realms are heaped so much praise, right? But whereas devotees who are giving up materialistic activities and engaging in the service of the Lord are often taunted like, hey, he or she is being lazy, or he or she is taking to an easier path and trying to neglect his or her duties like that. So this is a bane of Kali Yuga, that people look at the material accomplishments or achievements as more important, and they praise them, right? They praise people who are high achievers like that, but they don't realize the importance of devotees who are actually engaged in devotional service. So this is a stark reality, and also in one sense a very strong verse which says that if we also take to these activities, then we are no better than these animals like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. Yeah, I think I would like to pause here for today. We are 8 minutes past time. Anyone has any questions or comments or realizations you'd like to share before we pause for the day? Yes, Prabhuji, Nityanisam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Mataji, like how to differentiate when the dot is down and when the dot is up and there is a like apostrophe or some line on above. How in the pronunciation how when to that clarity is not there, Mataji. Would you kindly enlighten on that, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. There is, I don't know if you have a Bhagavad Gita handy, Prabhuji. Towards the end of it, also Prabhupada has given a transliteration guide. So that also helps to actually look at what those, I think I had posted. Let me try to just grab this and I will paste it here. 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Can you see this one? My screenshot, my PPT?
We can see the PPT, Mataji.
Yeah, do you see that page where, 1 second. Do you see that page I have brought up, like which shows the pronunciation guide? Or you're seeing
So that
something
we
else?
cannot see, Mataji.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just give me 1 second. Now I will post it here. In the last, I will. Yeah, if you see, like this is taken from the Bhagavad Gita, and I will share this also on the chat. So in this, the pronunciation is written E, like if you see the I, you have to pronounce it like the I in pin, P, like E, the short I vowel sound. E, when it has an, a hyphen over it, like the E in peak, E, the long E vowel sound. U is like the U in push, and then U is like the long vowel in rule, and R is like the R in Rita. But this one you cannot actually, I don't know if it has a Western kind of pronunciation to it. R, Re, but this is re. So this is a long vowel, and then re. This is like L with dot under la, like usually pronounced like that. E is like the A in they. E is like A. I, this is I, like an I'll. O and go and ow, like all the other vowels are given. And then the consonants too, Prabhuji, if you see, like N with the dot under is the long na, it's pronounced like na, like that. T with the dot under is pronounced as t. And you can see T with the dot under, and H is like th, like the th. And then D with the dot under, and HA is dh sound, and D with the dot under is d. So the guide is given here, Prabhuji, and I will also post it again. So
you,
using
Mataji.
these, it just takes a few things, like I will point out maybe the most important things, like the ones you were asking for. This is like sha, the small sha, like the sharira sha is the one with the apostrophe on the top, the S with the apostrophe on the top, and then S with a dot on the bottom is sha, the shatkon wala sha, like, purushaha sha, that you pronounce with the bottom palate, if you ask me, sha, like that. And the one with the top sha is like sha. It's like your tongue touches the upper palate like that. So that is sha, shariram, like shariram swarupam, that one sha. This is sha, like Purushaha, Sha, Krishnaha, like that Sha. That is the Sha, the one with the dot under. Okay. And then, like I said, the D with the dot, wherever there is a dot, they are like the hard consonants. Okay. It's otherwise D, plain D is pronounced as the. Okay. But if it has a dot under, then it takes the hard one, the. And if it has a dot and then followed with an HA, it becomes dha. Similarly, T by itself, T is the. That's how it is treated. And then T with a dot under is t. And then T with a dot under and an H is th, like that. So C is pronounced as cha, like the first, the cha. And then CH is cha, like chhatri wala cha, like the umbrella chhatri wala cha. So the pronunciation, these are some of the important things you may want to keep in mind. G is pronounced as ga, and GH is gha. And similarly, K is kite, like ka, and kha, khargosh wala kha, like that, kha. That is the second, after kha comes, right? That kha, that is. So the guide is given here, Prabhu. And usually when there is a hyphen on top of the alphabet, it is referring to a long sound, long vowel sound. Sorry, that's my alarm for my Gayatri. So E is when the hyphen is on the top, it is a long sound. Usually that is how it is, Prabhuji. And then H with the dot under is a visarga. So, if there is like, let's go back to this verse and I can show you some examples. Not this one, the one before. See, akamaha. So when you're just pronouncing the word by itself, and it has a H with a dot under it, then akamaha. So whatever was the last sound, last sound was ma, the same sound will apply to H also here. So ma, ha. Okay. And then let's go to this word. Dhi. And then this also has, it's not clear here, but if you see, this has a dot under it. The H has a dot under it. So dhi, and the sound which will follow H is he, because the sound which was earlier to the H was E sound, the long vowel sound. So the H will also follow. We will not say it as dhi, her. We will say dhi, he, because the previous sound, the pronunciation was E sound. So this H with the visarga will follow the same sound. It will say he, dhi, he, like that. But if it is ka, ma, ha, Okay, because ma is a sound, ha. So H with the dot under will take the same sound, like same vowel, if you don't want to, if sound is confusing to you. So that is how the visargas work, Prabhuji. And it just takes a little bit of practice, and it you will be able to understand. And Purusham, so if you see Purusha, Sha, if you see like in the Hindi transliteration, I mean the Devanagari script, sorry, you see the Sha, Purusha. So that Sha is that S with the dot under it, if you see. Okay. And then I'll try to find one. And Udara Dhihi. Dhi, if you see this D, it doesn't have a dot under it, so it's not a hard D sound. So it's still a D, but Dhi, because H, it follows with an H, so it's Dhi, like that. And if you see Moksha, Sha, this one Moksha, KSA, KS with a dot under, this is the Ksha sound, which we see here, Ksha, like that. So Purusham is there. Let's find some more words if we can. Yeah, Shravana. You see Shravana, Prabhu? The S has a hyphen over it. So that is the Shariram Vala Shravana. Oh, but then this is Shravana. I don't know. Thamratam Shravana. Why it is up, I am not sure in this one. But yeah, it's right. It is up only. This is that Sharira Vala Sha and Ra, Shravana. But they have used this alphabet to denote it, but that the same sound as the Sharira Valasha Shravana. And then Sambhritam Bhr. If you see, this is that R sound, Sambhritam. And then I'm trying to see if, yeah, Bhagavataha. See here, Bhagavata, ta is the sound like the small vowel here. So her also takes her with the dot under, takes the same vowel like ta, her, like that. So it will, the H with visarga, atmana, ha, like that. See, if you say atmana, ha. So it will just follow the same vowel, which is being previously used for the other. See, Vishaya, this all doesn't have a visarga. But wherever there's a visarga, it will do all those. I mean, it will just follow the same thing like that. And here, if you see, this one, it has pu, and the T has a dot under it, and then the S has a dot under it. So this is a hard T. It's not a th, it's a T. So t, pute, okay, puteshu, puteshu, if you see here. Where is it? Yeah, if you see this in Devanagari script, Puteshu, you see this? So this is the hard, when the T has a dot under it, it's the T sound, Tamatar wala T, like they say tomato, that T sound. So Puteshu, Sha, this is the same, Krishna, that Sha, okay? The one with the, when you roll your tongue in the lower palate, you get that Sha kind of sound, and you create like a hollow air. I don't know how to describe it, but sure, like, there's like, it's done using the lower palate, and that is Puteshu. Shravana, if you see, there is a dot under the na, so it's not the na, but it's na. If you see, it's the na. Where is that word? I'm trying to see. Where is that word? Shravana Pute. Yeah, Shravana. If you see, this is this na here. You see? So when there is a dot under it, it takes like the hard, or not the simple case of the consonant, but like the hard one. So basically these are a few of the things, Prabhu, which keep coming mostly. And we do you were saying the hyphen on the top. So oo is oo sound. And then oo, when it has like a hyphen on it, it's a long elongated vowel. So it's an oo sound. We do, she, you see the S dot under it. So is that shavidushi? Ta, again, this is a long vowel. And then shayam is sharira, sha. This is with the upper palate, sha, sharira, like that. And then the dot under a sha, like Krishna, sha, that sha, like that. Okay, you can just a few things, if you remember, it's easy, only like 5-6 things. I will make a note of it and I will share PDF in next class. If you find this little bit overwhelming, this may be like too much, but simple things we can learn from the verses. I hope that's clear, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Actually, whatever you said, because you said like palette and all, that is something because I don't know much. I'm just when to use where I think, as you said, it is a practice only makes us to learn better. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. Hare
Yes, Prabhu. Like if you observe when you try saying Krishna,
Krishna,
no, not Shah. Say Krishna,
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 Krish. Do that.
Krish.
Yeah, if you say sh, you will be missing that when I'm
And
saying
also,
what is-
Mataji, it may depend on the pronunciation. Some people, some people or some devotees cannot say like, or it needs practice. I don't know. Sometimes
yeah.
it becomes
Yes,
difficult.
Prabhu, it does take some learning, but at least for Indian speakers, because we have these, if you've learned Hindi, we have learned all these, the same, it follows the same Devanagari script, Hindi. So it's not too different in that
Yeah.
sense. So Krishna, like Shatkon wala, Sha, Purusha, Sha. So Sha, when you Purusha, try saying Purusha,
Purushaha,
Purusha.
Purushaha.
You feel that lower thing going when you say Purushaha.
Yeah, Purushaha.
And then try saying Sharira.
Sharira,
You see it's going up palate. Sharira.
Sharira,
You feel it's not going down or the hollow of your palate in the bottom. Purushaha. Try saying Purushaha.
Purushaha,
Purushaha. Shra.
Ashaha, Purushaha.
Yeah, you will feel that, like it is going to the bottom palate or upper. Like also some like
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 Mataji, Nirtya means dance, na Mataji.
yeah.
Like how to pronounce that, because sometimes I'm not getting the proper word when I'm pronouncing.
Yeah, Nritya. It is a
Nirtya,
combination of three, N, R, and T, right? Ra, and Tha. So it's little bit difficult. So Nritya. Yeah. It takes some practice. And also, if you see like the Papa Babhamma, that all only requires the lips. If you see, we are not touching any of the palate inside our mouth. Papa Babhamma. You see that?
Yes, Mataji.
And then you
When we
try
singing
saying
also,
the
we should remember this, Mataji, but practically it is not possible. Na? When we sing, actually we sing with our whatever devotees or whatever Vaishnavas they sing, but we cannot observe the like tongue is going down or up. This is how to recognize, or is there any separate classes for that, Mataji?
Prabhuji, I will just say if you learn like alphabet class, if you want to, like there's some Sanskrit alphabet class videos I can forward, Prabhu. Yeah, I mean, basically when you're learning the alphabets, you kind of get familiar with it. That's how I would put it. I mean, at least that's how I learned it, because I took Hindi as a language at school. So these consonants, we have learned it like a childhood like that. So alphabet classes, I'm pretty sure will help us with.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah.
Yeah, will help us with this. And also what was I saying? Yeah, the other one, tha, the, dhana. If you try to say that, Prabhu, you will see that your tongue is touching the upper teeth. The, the, dhana. Try saying that.
Ta.
You see your tongue is touching upper teeth.
Yeah, yes, Mataji.
Yeah, so like that, all these different alphabets will touch like different parts of our mouth, and they all have like great significance. That's why when you recite these, and also these are transcendental, like the Sanskrit is a transcendental language. So any which way we recite, we are getting benefits.
Basically, Mataji, when we were student, we read, but we now we forget because there is a lot of gap.
Yeah.
And And nowadays English only we are speaking, and
Yeah.
that's how the big difference. And when we start going to read the slokas and all, like we don't know I am pronouncing properly or no. That also I don't know exactly. Yeah. And
Yes,
there is a
Prabhu,
saying
but
that if we pronounce wrongly, there is some like what you say. It makes a difference. If we don't pronounce properly, like it has its own effect. Something like that. I don't
yes,
know.
Prabhuji. Yeah, the meaning could change a lot if you
Change. Yeah.
stress too much on a vowel or something like that in Sanskrit. But Krishna is Bhavagrai Janardhana, so we can try our best, like
Devotees are always merciful, Mataji.
yeah,
Yes,
like Krishna is very merciful to us, so devotees also.
thank you, Mataji.
And
Thank you.
yeah, so we'll try our best. Main purpose is to preach. So we see so many Western devotees of Srila Prabhupada disciples. They are doing so beautifully. They try to memorize all the verses. So many Maharajas, they speak so beautifully and do. So it may not be perfect, but the devotion, the bhakti comes out, and it touches the heart of everybody. So that is more important. If we are still not too perfect with the pronunciation, but if our sadhana is good, it will reach the other person, right? So we are trying to learn this for preaching. So
True, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji, for your efforts and endeavor. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
oh, no worries. Thank you, Prabhuji, for keeping me motivated. And it's a little too late today. Sorry, devotees. We just had some interesting questions, and I hope it helped us all learn a lot. So we will meet again next week with another set of verses. And I'm just thinking, because Adi Gadadhar Prabhu has moved his Jaiva class to Wednesday, and I'm sure many devotees want to even tune into that class too. He's an excellent speaker, same time. So that's why I'm wondering if that's going to be a kind of a routine for them. I may move this class to Monday. I hope it's not inconveniencing you all. So
earlier it was Monday, na Mataji? Earlier, before in the beginning, our class was Monday.
oh, really? I don't even remember.
Sorry, it was Monday. I think Bhagavatam. But Adi Gadadhar Prabhu's link we are sending in this group, Mataji, in the Bhakti Sangha group.
No, he has that is coming from the ISKCON Bhagavata Mahavidyalaya, IBM. So that is his,
Will
but
you
many
kindly
devotees.
share that, Mataji? Maybe we will, based on our time, we will hear that also.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I think that his class is 7:30 to 8:32. Though he must be wrapping up around now, but his classes tend to spill over. So maybe we can listen to the last part. So I will keep you all posted on the channel, regarding the change. And so
Thank you, Mataji.
yeah, we'll recite Vaishnav Pranam mantra and call it. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha patitana bhavnena Vaishnava. Thank you, devotees, for your enthusiastic participation. We'll see you again next week.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.